Okay, we're gonna get going. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Scott Furlong, the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Welcome to our webinar on sort of the academic activities that we'll be doing here at SUNY Oswego in the upcoming semester. I'm joined today with Rami Mohammadi and Corey Kolbach. We'll all be here talking a little bit, answering questions. Let me talk a little bit about format. You can see us, but I don't think we can see you. I think it's the way that kind of works. So if you have questions, feel free to use the chat function and ask those questions, and we'll try to get to them. We think we did see, I know a lot of you submitted questions to begin with, and we'll try to get to those as well. Not surprisingly, many of you asked some of the same questions, so as we're going through our presentation, we'll be answering those questions. If there's something that we are talking about that is specific to what we're talking about and you have a question, feel free to go ahead and open that up in the chat and ask that question at that point, or we can wait to the end of the session. I wanted to give you just a little bit of background about what we've been doing over the summer, planning for the fall. As many of you know, back in March, as a result of the pandemic, the campus did go into a fully online mode, or fully remote mode, I should say, for the remainder of the spring semester. I think many of you have probably read our Oswego Forward plan for the fall, and that plan lays out how we are reopening and how our students will have access to different classes and courses throughout the fall semester. We came up with a plan where approximately 40% of our classes are online, and either an asynchronous online or synchronous online. For those who don't know that terminology, synchronous basically means you take those classes in real time. You show up on a day and on a time, probably through Zoom, where the instructor will be teaching that class on Zoom. Asynchronous is more of a true online experience where students will be doing a lot of that work on their own, interacting on their own time rather than on a dedicated time. We have 30% of our classes that are face-to-face, sort of a traditional classroom environment, and then 30 that are what we're calling a reduced face-time classes. Those are classes where the faculty will have some percentage of their class in class on any given day during the week. So you think about it this way, if the class is scheduled for 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, a third of the class might show up on Monday, a third on Wednesday, and a third on Friday. And then there would be other work that they would be doing outside of the classroom environment. All of this is being done, as you know, because of the pandemic. We have some very explicit requirements regarding classroom safety and classroom density. So classes, excuse me, our classrooms that have traditionally held, let's say 30 students are about a third to a half smaller now. So we can't really get full classes into a classroom. So we had to make those types of adjustments. And that's why we went into some additional teaching modalities to try to allow for those classrooms to be used in the most efficient and effective way possible. You probably have also read in the Oswego Forward plan about our academic calendar. We've made a few changes to our academic calendar for the fall. We've eliminated all of the holidays that were in that calendar, and we'll be teaching classes on those days. We've also will stop face-to-face classes at the Thanksgiving break. So that Wednesday before Thanksgiving will be the last day for face-to-face class. That won't be the end of the semester. and it won't be the end of the class necessarily for those face-to-face classes. We just will be finishing out that semester in a remote way. So when students go home for Thanksgiving, they'll be doing the rest of their work from home at that point, which is only a week of classes and a week of finals. Okay, so it's not very much time there. We're asking, our advisement office has been in contact with a lot of our students over the summer. They've really been doing a great job, and Corey will talk some more about that as we go through our PowerPoint, as working with your students to try to get them the best schedule possible. And then we'll also talk a little bit about student support and what we're trying to do to make sure you can all have a successful fall semester. This is going to be new for all of us, and we're really looking forward to working with you, to really bringing you into that Oswego community, and really to continue the tradition that we really feel strongly about in regards to our interactivity, the engagement we want with our students, even for those students who might be taking an online class. We're really working hard to make those experiences as engaging as they can be. And I will tell you, our faculty have been working all summer in faculty development and working on their classes to really provide the best experience possible. So let me stop there. And I think I'm turning it over to, who am I turning over to? Ramin now or Corey? Ramin, to talk a little bit more about our plan.
Hi, everybody. I am Ramin Mohammadi. I'm the Associate Provost for undergraduate and special programs. So the primary focus of my job is making sure we deliver the undergraduate curriculum to our students, majors, general education, and so on. So first on social distancing expectations and the way that has affected our instruction. So the picture you see on the right of your screen is an actual design page from like 200 of these, of all the classrooms that we have on our campus. So the circles you see are 6 feet in diameter, and they're designated to spot or identify the spot for a student. So in this particular image, you can see we have about 19 seats. There's a significant space on top of your screen in that image that is designated to be the instructional space. That's where the faculty would be. So this particular room, in actuality, its capacity is about 60. So we're putting 19 students in that room to ensure that there is enough passageway for students to get to where they need to be in the room, and of course be separated from each other adequately. We are using plexiglass pretty substantially in the classroom for the instructor station. Some of our faculty indicated that they would have a difficult time with the mask while they're teaching, so we're installing and have been installing plexiglass around the teaching station. So while they're behind the plexiglass, they're allowed to, we're permitting them to remove their mask so that the students can see them speak, and it would be easier for them to speak and teach their courses. But once they leave that space, we're expecting them to put their mask back on. So if they need to write something on the whiteboard or whatever, then they need to put their mask back on. As mentioned, everybody needs to wear masks. All the students, all the faculty, all around campus. We really are impressing upon everyone that to keep the community safe, this is probably the one key element that everybody has to engage in. So whether they are walking from class to class or in class, we really need our students to wear their mask. And this is not, I've been tested negative for COVID-19, but I still wear my mask. It's one of those things that I think we just need everyone to follow. The other thing we've done to ensure that there isn't significant traffic between classes as people get across campus. If you've seen our campus, it's a very big campus, and there is obviously many classrooms in a in the space that we have. So in about 20 different buildings. So to get from building to building is going to take a little extra time as the passageways are pretty significantly controlled in what direction people can go and how they can maneuver through our buildings so that, you know, people are not facing each other, they're not too close to each other and so on. So that added time is only 5 minutes. We typically have 15 minutes between classes. We have added 5 minutes and brought that up to 20 minutes. So there have been a number of questions about modalities and the way they work and how you know. As Scott explained, we do have really 4 modalities that are going on with our course instructions. The first one is online and what we refer to as asynchronous. And asynchronous simply means that it's a traditional online course. There is no actual meeting time, videos, course content, readings, discussion areas, and so on are embedded into the course in a manner where the students can work on their own. And there's other technologies that I won't get into depending on the type of course that exists, but the students choose their time to actually do the work. These courses in our system have a section code, almost exclusively have a section code that has an ON on it. So if you're looking at your schedule and the section code says ON, you can assume that course is online. So it's ON1 or ON2, for example. So CSE 212 ON1 means that CSE 212 course is online. The other indicator is the so-called campus code. The campus code could be Syracuse. So some of you may know we have a Syracuse campus. It could be campus, our own main campus. So it would indicate campus code would indicate main campus, or it would say 100% online. So if the course is online, we'll have a campus code that will say just that is fully online, 100% online. Synchronous courses, as Scott explained, actually have meeting time. So the students may be meeting at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They will not be in a classroom, but they will be with their faculty in Zoom. We actually have a campus-wide enterprise version of Zoom, so everybody can have a Zoom account. So our faculty will have Zoom accounts, students can have Zoom accounts, student groups will have Zoom accounts, and that is the way we are, and that is the way we're going to handle our synchronous courses. And as Scott said, the online type courses we have and labs we have are 20% synchronous and 20% asynchronous. Face-to-face courses are just traditional face-to-face courses, but I have to tell you, there aren't any, hardly any face-to-face courses we teach at Oswego that are traditional lecture. I mean, they're all active learning, design, and they will have content that will be online. It's just inevitable that they would share content that is going to be available online for students. So when we say face-to-face, you really have to imagine students working on tasks in the classroom. They may still be watching videos outside of the classroom. They may still be contributing to discussions outside of the classroom online. So just because we say it's face-to-face doesn't mean it doesn't have those components in it. That's about 30% of our offerings. And then the other 30% are what we refer to as hybrids. These courses will have an HY section code. That's how you know they are hybrids. I should remember to say that synchronous online courses have an OY section code. So this is the way you know that they are synchronous online, and they will actually have meeting times. When you look them up, you can actually see they have meeting times. So reduced seat classes, we're not articulating exactly when students have to be in class. That's the responsibility of faculty, because what we discovered was there are instances where faculty wanted students to be in class, but they didn't need them all to be in class at the same time. So some of the students may come on Monday, and some of them may come on Wednesday, and some of them may come on Friday. There are reduced seat time classes where students, faculty only wanted the students to come in for exams. They wanted to make sure that the exams were administered in the classroom. They are somewhat rare of that type. And this is why we decided not to explicitly tell every student when they had to be in those classes and put that responsibility on the faculty to provide that detail. Any other questions in this context? I see the question on OY and ON, and I don't think we have any more, Corey, do we? Are we good? Okay, we can just move on then. So just wanted to come back to the academic calendar because obviously we're not in normal times for sure. So what we want to be able to do is to do our best to bring our students to campus and keep them here safe and then send them home when Thanksgiving break happens. So we're going to hold classes literally from August 24th and take them all the way through November 25th. That's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and complete instruction at that point the best that we can. Online classes may continue. There are faculty who want to have their students be able to submit their final projects until right up until December 11th. We're allowing that, and there would be no breaks in between. We even, I've been here, this is my 36th year coming up. So this is the second time during my 36 years we have held class on Labor Day. But it was critical. It was critical for us to make sure we completed the instruction in face-to-face classes and reduced seat classes on time for that 25th as the ending point. But to be clear, the courses do not end until the 11th. So faculty are still able to expect students to do what they need them to do right up until that point. But there will be no face-to-face meetings once Thanksgiving comes along.
Ramin, we had a couple of questions in the chat. One of them was about additional audio supports in place, speakers, microphones for the instructors within the classroom.
Yeah, they're adding those. They have had to add video equipment so that students that are coming in synchronously, they can have access to the same material. You know, we are dealing with situations, special situations where a particular student is unable to attend a face-to-face class and faculty are accommodating them. So we have had to upgrade all of the video and audio equipment in those rooms for that purpose.
There's one additional question on there about January, so winter session and possibly the start of spring semester.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. We're working on this at this point. Our plan at this point is still in a draft form, but we're going to have an extended winter session, a longer one, obviously, as you would expect, than we have ever had before. Typically, they are after January 1, and they end, of course, before spring classes begin. At this point, we're potentially looking at a 6-week winter session, which enables us to do 2 3-week sessions or one larger 6-week session. Many of our courses were really not available in a 3-week format, but now that we have more time, potentially we can have some of those courses run. Faculty will be working on that in the next couple of months in developing the winter schedule, but we're going to work on that. I think there is a real opportunity for students to take additional courses during winter session because of this longer gap that we've created.
The next question that we have in there is, will students in the same class be able to access the instructor live if they are not in person, but rather online and with the synchronous instruction as well?
That's a great question. There's some of our classes are going to be designed that way. We have a few classes in School of Business, for example, that are going to be set up that way, where their students are going to be literally in 3 separate rooms. So 2 of those rooms are coming in synchronously online, and they just have too many students, like 40 students, and we have no rooms in School of Business that could permit that many students. So they're going to be separated in separate rooms in that way, but not that many classes will work that way. The plan is to video the class and make them available to students that cannot be physically there, and whatever other material and resources are needed for the student to actually participate. It's not the best way for us to teach. I can tell you that. You know, when we have courses set up at this time to be face-to-face, whether they're reduced seat time or fully face-to-face, we really want our students to be here. But there are special circumstances. We're dealing with them every day at this point, where we want to make sure students are successful and they're able to continue their education and make progress. But it's not the best circumstance. Obviously, we don't, you know, it's not a video instruction situation. Much of our instruction requires active learning, and for that, you need to be there. But we also can't really expect our faculty necessarily in many contexts to handle both things at the same time, both synchronous students coming in synchronously online and dealing with those that are in the classroom. That's a very difficult task, and some people can do it, and they will do it, but not everybody is going to be able to do that.
Okay. Just so I get all the questions here, the other one is, you'd mentioned the spring semester. Do we have an actual date for the beginning of the spring session?
We have no plans to change the spring semester start date. It's close to the end of January.
January 25th.
Yeah, so we have no plans to change that at this point. So all plans are for that term to start when we're expecting it. We are discussing spring break, so I have to tell you whether or not we need to do something about spring break. But, you know, maybe there will be a vaccine and we don't have to deal with it in the spring, and we could get back to normal instruction in the spring. But we're going to be preparing similarly to the way we have done already for the fall, for the spring, absent anything that enables us to feel like we can be back to normal. You know, if there's a vaccine and we can be back to normal, I think we all would be way happier. But at this point, we got to make sure that our students are safe. So the discussion at this point is more about spring break than it is the changing of the beginning of spring.
All right, I'm gonna move us along to the advisement section. I broke this particular slide into 2 sections for incoming students and current students. All the incoming students are assigned an advisor at the time of their admissions deposit. So as soon as they pay that deposit to admissions, we go in and get them an assigned advisor. They have some steps to do for orientation, and then the advisor reviews all of their information and establishes a course schedule for them. At this point, that's where the conversation between the student and the advisor starts, where you can work directly with them for any course changes or any questions. So we really encourage all of our incoming students to find their advisor and bring any questions up to that advisor, and we'll be able to help. For current students, all current students have a faculty advisor that are already assigned, but in the advisement center, we can take any general questions. So they can send if they can't get a hold of their advisor, they can absolutely reach out to the advisement center, advisement@oswego.edu, and we will address all of those questions and help you find the answers to them as we go. We have a couple other options for students. So if you're not really sure where to go, this was a big item last fall when we opened up and brought in all of our first year students, is walk-in sessions or drop-in sessions. We've accommodated that for virtual, so if a student can still access that. Currently we're working under summer hours, so we have fewer hours happening right now, but starting August 17th, we're gonna have full coverage from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. So you can jump online, hit the click for the Zoom link, and you'll be able to talk with an advisor. So that's general questions. Definitely we encourage you to reach out to your advisor first. But if you're not quite sure where to go, the virtual walk-in sessions have been great for the summer. We are also opening our office, the advisement center, for walk-in sessions. Those will be done by appointment. So we'll have further instructions on that. So the students who are on campus, we can set up an appointment, have them come in for a face-to-face appointment with an advisor. The biggest thing that we need is we're not sure what's going on if you don't ask the question. So we really encourage, if there's any doubt, you're really not sure, just ask, and an advisor is more than happy to help you and walk you through the process as we go. For student supports, we have lots of things going on right now. We always do student success workshops. We look at development and what areas we need more workshops in. These are our current offerings. They are also on our website. We have them pre-recorded, but we are also going to be doing some live sessions as well throughout the semester. The live sessions allow students to kind of ask questions as they're going through the session, so we're really encouraging both. The 4 topics that we have at this point are effective learning strategies, managing online classes, which could be key for a lot of our students at this point, time and priority management, and achieving your goals. So each one of these sessions, we've put a lot of research in. We've made sure we're up to date with national standards for each one of these topics. And we've had a lot of positive feedback from students who have gone through them. Even if you're not quite sure if that's an area that you need to brush up on, it really is something that you can take a look at. Through the Advisement Center, we have a peer mentoring program, and this is open enrollment. So even if you're not interested yet, that you don't need a mentor, that's fine. Throughout the semester, if you get 2 weeks in and realize you would really like somebody to talk to and kind of help guide, this is a peer person, so they've gone through the process that you're going through at this point, and we'd be more than happy to get you paired up with somebody. We generally like to stick these peer mentors with somebody within your own interest area or your own major. So once we get to that process, if you are interested, let us know. Just send an email to advisement@oswego.edu, and we'll get you paired up with somebody. We do have a couple of different advisement centers across campus. So School of Business has their own advisement center. It's called BASAC, and that's in Rich Hall. They are also offering all sorts of student supports during this unusual time. And then we have curriculum and instruction for students in the School of Ed. They can also visit those areas as well. And I wasn't keeping up with the questions as I was talking. Did you guys catch any of them?
Yeah, we have some questions here that probably should be considered.
Okay.
One question has to do with whether the presentation will be available to the audience. I'm not exactly sure what the format of the communication is on this, but we'll certainly ask and to find out how we can get it to you. That would be my answer to that. If anybody else has a better answer, I'll be happy to pass that on to you. There's a question about student success workshops. When will they be offered? They will be posted at the advisement website, right?
Yes, we just discussed the final format for those today. So we have the dates and we will get them up on our website very shortly. So you can check that out at oswego.edu/advisement. And then it's all the way down at the first part of that page for success workshops. So we will post those dates of when they'll be live, but we also have the pre-recorded sessions. If you want to take a look at those now, you can view them right now.
There's a great question about social, emotional support, stress management type workshops and things of that type for students and staff. I'm assuming folks in counseling are still doing those. Am I right? Do we post them at the advisement site, Corey?
Yes, we work very closely with mental health counseling in the counseling center, and we kind of handle both of those workshops. We do more of the student success, and their office does more of the social emotional supports. I will make sure to get a link on our website so that you can get full access to what they're offering. We're still in talks to make sure that we have enough offerings for the need on campus for this semester. So we will get that to you.
And the last question I see has to do with peer mentoring. Are they going to be meeting with students in person, or they're going to be doing it online?
So we are leaving that up to the peer mentor. So giving our social distance and requirements on campus. So we will make sure that all the mentors that we have are fully trained. So if you do choose to meet in person, we are encouraging Zoom meetings for this interaction. So if you are somebody who is taking online classes, we can get you in contact with a peer mentor online. Preferably via Zoom. Last semester, our peer mentors got pretty creative once we went remote, and they stayed very active with their group of students. So they were finding all sorts of different ways to stay connected, and we had some positive feedback from that. So Jake, we'll work with you however you guys feel safe, and staying within the guidelines that we have on campus.
These are all the questions I see. We should probably pause and see if there are any other questions that come.
I did see one from Rebecca about peer tutoring in person.
Okay. I didn't see that one, sorry.
Yeah, Ramin, do you want to, I haven't spoke with Joey, but I know they have a lot in the works on that.
Well, they are going to be, we're training our tutors to do tutoring through Zoom, which is going to be the preferred method of tutoring for the fall semester. So the tutors will actually come in, they will have a computer, they will have a video, they would have speakers, and they would support students that would come in virtually. But students can still stop in at the Office of Learning Services in the library for tutoring support as well too. But I think, you know, we're trying to be as safe as we can. So if it's equally successful, we would probably opt to allow it to be done through Zoom. I just want to add generally the way we have run our business in the institution for the last few months through Zoom probably has changed the way we're going to do our business going forward. I'm going to be holding office hours with Zoom. It's so much easier for students to jump in and ask their questions. They don't have to actually come in. So we're really hopeful that some of those things will stay with us.
We had a couple of questions about schedules. So undeclared to business management. So there's major changes happening, absolutely. You definitely still have an opportunity to change your schedule for this semester. In your My Oswego account, if you log on to the student profile, you will see your advisor's information and name. It's underlined. So if you click on that advisor, you will get their email, their contact information, and you should definitely be reaching out to them if you need to make changes to your schedule. We really want to encourage you, all students, to reach out to their advisor first. That's our job, is to make sure that your schedule is set and to kind of walk you through the process and make sure you're comfortable with your schedule for the first semester.
There is a question about students who are fully online. There are students that are fully online. And in fact, many of them asked to be fully online, and we accommodated that for them. And if that's the case, they don't have to live on campus if they don't want to. But some students are choosing to still live on campus, even if they have all of their schedule online. So I think we've seen all combination of those. In instances where people have told us that they want to stay home and their courses are all online, whether synchronous or asynchronous, then in some instances they have to work through the housing office to get out of their housing contracts. But from what I understand, there's a request process and it's fairly smooth. I believe there's been already some webinars on that already in the last few days, but that's my understanding of how that works.
That process starts with your advisor. So if this is something that you're considering or thinking about, definitely work with your advisor, look at the options and look at what you have to do for the process. I believe we have a question in the Q&A.
Sorry, I answered that already on the chat.
Okay, good. I kept clicking on it and it wouldn't give me access to it. So thank you for having access to that. We have a question about finding recordings to the webinars.
I believe they're being recorded. I think Wayne is on.
They're recording us.
Yeah, I mean, the system says they're recording, so I expect they're recording. Wayne is on the call, I think. I'm not really sure where they would post these if they do post them, though.
I guess it's going to go on the COVID site, but it looks like Wayne is coming on.
Okay. Yeah, that one, you know, we're not as good as answering as he would be. He's our.
Okay, he's put it in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
Any other questions?
So we're all really excited to have our students here. I have to tell you, it's been an interesting time without them here. So we're truly excited about having them back, and we're going to do our best to keep everybody safe, faculty, students, staff, everybody. So we're looking forward to the start of the semester.
If you haven't picked it out from some of Corey's comments, if you do have any questions regarding classes, making changes to classes, questions about, you know, can you get an additional or try to shift into an online class or shift into a face-to-face class, then you really ought to be contacting your advisor at this point to do that. We are looking forward very much to having people back, and I know we've seen some questions both here and other webinars regarding, you know, can we stay home if we have all of our courses online, and we're allowing that. But I will tell you, we know we can support you very well if you are on campus, and we know our Wi-Fi is very stable. We know we have places on campus for studying purposes, and just having access is an important thing. And as Ramita said to me a couple of times, for those of you who might be incoming freshmen, we've really never let freshmen take online courses their first semester. So we're you know, because of the situation, we're making some changes in our typical policies, but we definitely want you to be successful, and we want to do everything that we can, you know, whether you do stay home or if you are here on campus, to be successful. So
there's a question about how do you know or how do you identify the list of courses that are hybrid or face-to-face? So when you're doing a course search in My Oswego, one of the fields that is available to you under advanced search is the campus. And that field allows you to ask for online, or ask for main campus, or ask for Syracuse, whatever. So if you choose main campus, those are courses that are either totally face-to-face or are hybrid, meaning have some face-to-face. So that's the way you actually get a list of exactly what courses are face-to-face. The same way, if you want to know what courses are offered online, all of them, courses, labs, whatever, that same field, if you choose online, then that will get you the list of all the courses. We're talking about hundreds in each case, so you should have enough time to be able to go through page and page and page of all of those things. But within any subject, that what I just said is true too. So if you want to see what business courses are online, for example, you can choose business as a subject, and then go ahead and choose online as the campus. Or the other way, choose business as the subject and choose main campus as the campus. So campus code. So that would enable you to see all of that.
And definitely, I want to keep reiterating the fact that work with your advisor, especially if you're an incoming student. You can't make changes to your schedule, but your advisor is there and ready to help you with that process. So we can walk you through, show you the classes. I've had several meetings just today walking students through and showing them how to find those courses and making an appropriate schedule. So don't feel, that you're over pressuring. Just reach out to the advisor and let them know that you have questions.
There is a question on the library. The library will be open, but like everywhere else on campus, it will have reduced seating and capacity. And we are setting up, for students who want to use the library for study purposes, we're actually setting up a reservation system whereby students can sort of reserve 2 to 3 hour time slots to go in and use the library. And then there will be other spots. I know there's also a question regarding taking exams and other spaces where you can do your synchronous courses. We will be setting up spaces around campus for studying and or doing synchronous work if you need that space, and if you don't want to go back to your room, or if you happen to be an off-campus student and need a space to go.
There's a question about residence halls. Perhaps we can record that and get back to Marie Murphy, who's asking that question. I don't know, do you, Corey, do you see that?
Yeah, I responded directly to her and asked her to loop me in, and I'll go ahead and walk her through that. So similarly, if other people on this webinar have questions about that, Res Life would be the email to attend to, but you can also send your concerns to advisement@oswego.edu, and we can work through them as well and point you in the right direction.
Yeah, I know they've had some pressures in terms of rooms, because we did take 2 buildings offline to ensure we had enough capacity in case anybody had to be quarantined. So there may be some pressures there, but we will help you to make sure you get the answers you need, for sure.
There's a question and answer that regarding whether a course that's currently face-to-face could be moved online. The short answer to that is no. The longer answer is if the campus has to go remote, let's say there's a rise in cases and the governor makes a decision regarding colleges going to remote, then in those cases, the face-to-face courses would have to go to remote.
Water allowed in classrooms? I think so.
I don't think we're going to allow eating in classrooms, but I think we are going to allow water.
Yeah. Yeah, I may need one for when I'm teaching. I don't know. I might have to have one.
You need to make little straws that you can get through your mask, maybe.
Well, that's the point. It's going to be an interesting sight, but maybe needed.
Somebody asked a question that showed up late regarding online classes and whether they're in real time. And again, I know we did cover this, but I'll say it again. The synchronous courses will be in real time. The asynchronous will not be real time. So if any of your online classes are synchronous, then they have class days, they have class times, and students should be showing up again, typically on a Zoom call for those days and times.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, we use the OY section code for the sections that actually have time that the students have to be online synchronously with their instructor for the course or the lab. And we use the ON when it's just online and it's a traditional online without any synchronous component.
We have a question about the GST 100 course, which is the college orientation and success course. This was put together by our first year coordinator. And it's going to be a great course, really getting students involved on campus, really looking at their resources and how to stay in touch. They have also had to pivot this course to make sure that we're moving it and supporting students, whether they're online or if they're in person and living in a dorm where there are some additional rules for living in the dorm. And you can tell if it's synchronous or asynchronous. I believe most of them are synchronous at this point. And there are going to be some activities outside of that with some small group they're trying to work into it. So with your synchronous courses, instructors will be reaching out individually to students. So be on the lookout for an email from your instructor of how the course is going to be conducted, and really read through the syllabus so they have a good understanding of what's in the course and what you'll need to do to succeed.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate one more thing there, Corey, that we really have asked our faculty to reach out to their students before the semester begins so that they have an ability to communicate any of the elements that they need to with the students before even they begin class. In the past, the requirement was to really only provide the syllabus on the first day of class. That's our faculty handbook, but we really believe that the sooner that the students know exactly how the course is going to work, the better it is for the students. So we have urged our faculty to do that before the semester begins. So expect communication from all of your faculty, actually. So there's a question about if the campus has to close, will hybrid and face-to-face classes become synchronous or asynchronous? The answer is it depends. Some courses can comfortably become asynchronous, and that's what we did in the spring semester. Some of the courses went online and became asynchronous. But there were other courses that faculty didn't feel comfortable running them asynchronous. They wanted to see students and have that time, face-to-face time online with them. So they ran them synchronously. I would expect we do the same. Yes, we have actually trained our faculty to be ready to do that if they have to. We have trained over 400 faculty during the summer to make sure they know how to be prepared for that potential outcome. It's not an outcome we want, but we're ready for it if it becomes necessary.
I did see a question about bills, and Corey, I saw you responded. This is not us holding it up. so much as the state. We're waiting for some information regarding tuition rates.
Okay.
Scrolling through here. Sorry about that.
There's a question about exams.
That's a good question.
It is a good question. And you want to take it?
Sure, sure. You know, traditionally, well, first of all, midterm exams, as you would expect, have always been done during the class time. So for face-to-face courses, that's a pretty obvious answer. They would be just done the way they have always been done. Clearly, you have to do something different in the context of hybrids because you can't get all your students in the classroom at the same time. So faculty have to prepare a different way of doing assessment for midterms in contexts such as that, or potentially give the exam on different days where the students are coming in on different days. But our traditional finals are not going to happen this year, this semester. We are not going to have a 2-hour final for our courses. We have directed faculty, if they want to have a final, to use their last meeting time to give that final. That's what they can do if they need to do it face-to-face. But many people are going to use final projects or other means for determining that final assessment. Okay. Any other questions? We still have a few more minutes. If people have any other questions, we can answer.
We're probably testing their fast typing abilities here, so.
All right.
So I did get, Wayne is going to try to get these webinars posted on the Oswego Forward website. So if anybody wants to go back and listen to us again, they can do that, or tell their friends that that are coming to Oswego and couldn't participate that these will be available online.
There's a really valid question. What's the benefit of being on campus if you have all of your courses online? So there's a number of things that happens, you know, having done this all of my life practically, it feels like. There's a great deal of learning that happens with our faculty just because the students are here. And those relationships that get established and those visits in the lab or in off hours after classes and so on are really, really important in the process that creates those relationships. And the relationships students create amongst themselves, networks that they create amongst themselves. Many of us teach our freshman courses in a manner that ensures students get connected to each other. They're going to be more successful when they are connected to each other. And through that connection, connected to our institution. It's really, I think it's way harder for us to do that when they're not here. That's all I can say. It just simply is harder for us to create those experiences that connect students to the institution when they are not here. And I think most of our students, they have told us they want to be back here. So that's what we do know. And that's why we have worked so hard. I can't tell you how many hours many hundreds and hundreds of people have put into making sure this is going to happen successfully for our students. It's because we really do believe it, that they need to be here if they can be here. Now, if somebody has health concerns and they cannot be here, we have to accept that, and we got to make sure we continue to support them. But it is not the same. It really won't be the same.
I'll chime in on sort of another side of this, which was probably covered in the student affairs webinar a little bit. But I mean, even though we're going to have, it's going to be a different experience for our resident students this year. There are still going to be activities going on. There will be opportunities for students to get together within the context of their pods. You know, we are working on you know, both virtual as well as other types of mechanisms where students can still understand what it's like to be part of a residential campus. As Ramin mentioned earlier, we're a big campus and we have a lot of outdoor space, and for at least the first couple months, the weather is great. So we're really going to be encouraging students, you know, to do things outside, you know, to get out and interact again in a you know, in a way that's healthy and meets all our criteria, but also allows for some amount of the type of experience we really want our students to be involved in. Again, it will be different. There's no way to sugarcoat this. It is going to be different, you know. But we are working, as Ramin said, you know, hundreds of people, hundreds of hours, you know, trying to make this experience at all levels, academic and co-curricular, you know, as close as possible to what we would want students to experience otherwise.
The other answer, I think the last question has to do with whether or not faculty are going to be available in person. I can tell you many are going to be available in person, but we do have faculty, just like we have students that have immune systems that are compromised and they don't want to take that risk. And we've allowed that. So they might not be coming to campus at all. But many of us will be here. I certainly plan on being here 6 or 7 days a week. And I know many others are too. So I think students should have adequate access in person to faculty if that's what they need.
I think we're at the end of our hour. I'm not seeing anything else popping in. I know Corey gave out her email address. All of our email addresses are available on our website if you have other questions. Or again, as I think most of you know, we do have an FAQ site set up on the Oswego Forward page. We have the ability for people to ask questions if that FAQ is not answering what you need answered, and we're trying to get back to people as quickly as possible. I know Ramin and I both responded to something today that came in. So, you know, we encourage you to ask whatever questions you want to. We're here, you know, and really looking forward to having our students back in any way, right? Whether it's via Zoom or being on campus, and really looking forward to the start of our semester. So with that, I think we'll sign off, and thank you for your participation and your interest in this.
Yes, looking forward to seeing everybody in the fall. Thank you.
I think I'm safe to hit end now, right?